Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Y&R Mini Spotlight. I'm James Lott Jr. And now today is such an amazing episode for you guys out there. I'm so excited. They throw the word legends around to a lot of people, and I don't agree with that all the time. But in this case, it is the truth. I mean, I'm just telling you, you can see them on the screen already. I mean, do they really need introductions? Yes, they do. They've both been an integral part of the Young and the Restless success for many years. And the one on the top over there, you can see her on the top over there, she's been playing Sharon and has the name Sharon in real life for years. And we're going to talk to her about her role playing opposite Nikki. Also, Miss Sharon Case. Hi, Sharon.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure, cute little dog. Now,
Marco's
this
here.
person, I was a fan of hers. You were in Marnie. You were in The Fury. I'm like, hello, Fury. I'm like, hello. You're in a lot of things, but I mean, you are the grand dame now of the Young and the Restless, and you are just an amazing person. And I'm so honored to have you on my show, Miss Millie Thomas Scott.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
So first, I'd like to ask first, how are you both doing during this kind of strange quarantining time?
Well, we'll go alphabetically. Sharon, you go first.
Okay, I'll just take this one. You go first next time. I'm doing fine. I'm trying to make the best of having time off work and getting things done around the house, and just remaining calm and staying safe. It's been a nice little break in a way too. I try to look at the positive.
Yes, Miss Melody.
Well, certainly, we're all doing the safe things too. I think people are sick of hearing about masks and gloves and 6 feet and all that, but of course, we're still doing that.
Yeah.
And we're just, at first, it was very jarring, as it was for all of us. And we've kind of leaned into the forced relaxation mode, just playing games and swimming and shooting pool and playing bananagrams and all that kind of stuff. So we're enjoying it. And my dog Riley is getting quite spoiled because she thinks this is the new normal, which it is, until we go back to work. And that's going to be quite a disaster for her. But for now, yeah, hide your ears. She didn't say that.
Well, I was going to ask you both, because you both have animals, clearly, that they must be like, okay, they're so used to you being there now full time, basically. It's going to be a trip when you guys go back to work.
Yeah, it is. I feel really bad about it. Well, I feel bad about it anytime that I leave the house because Riley she's a rescue and I'm her person. She's a one-person dog.
Oh.
And so even in the best of times, she whimpers when I'm not home. When I am home, she's either in my lap or at my feet. So it's hard. And Sharon, I know that you're very close to your animals too.
I've got Marco here. He jumped up. He was barking earlier, right when we got on Zoom. He heard voices, and then he decided to join me. And though I wasn't planning on having him be part of the interview, I guess he's got, something to say.
Yeah, and Marco, we can't wait. Are you going to reveal any of your mama's secrets?
Tell us, Marco. There's nobody watching. Just tell us everything. They won't see this. Exactly. But I'm glad you guys are doing safe and sane because it's tough. I'm learning how to crochet. That's the thing I'm trying to do right now.
Oh, I love to crochet.
You do. I'm left-handed, so I had to find a left-handed person to teach me.
Oh, I never really thought about that.
Exactly, because I sort of go, do the opposite. I go, my brain doesn't work that way. I don't know how to.
I have not crocheted since I was maybe 13 or 14, and this is the sad little life I had as a child. Well, when you read my book, you'll understand why all of that is. But I literally, I couldn't play with any friends and I had no companions, but I had a cat and I actually crocheted a bonnet for her with grosgrain ribbon interlaced in between with mittens, all 4 mittens. And this poor cat, I would put it on him and tie the little bonnet under his chin. I showed my daughter I found an old picture of it. I said, here is my cat, Sam, with all the crocheted stuff. She just looked at it and shook her head. She says, Mother, you really needed a life. I said, I know, I did.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't go down that road, James. Yeah. Do you have a cat?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, good.
But my mom has a dog, so now you gave me some ideas. A little chihuahua. You gave me some ideas. I'm like, a little sweater, maybe a sweater.
Well, it is good practice for the novice crocheter.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. It's very interesting because I got the chain going, and now I did the first row. Now I'm getting into the second row. It's a little hard.
Oh, but it's so much fun. You'll love it once you get the hang of it. It's really fun.
I know, I love it. Thank you. So let's talk about your characters. You both have been many things to each other. So I guess my first question is, as actors playing these characters, how does Nikki see Sharon these days? Like, what? I mean, you've been in each other's families, out each other's family for years. What do you think, Nikki? How she views Sharon?
I think that
she's all smiling.
in lieu of her latest health issue,
yeah.
I think it almost caught Nikki by surprise. And you saw it all happen in the matter of just 2 or 3 scenes where she's giving her trouble, and then she learns what Sharon's going through. And by the end of it, she's treating her like one of her children and consoling her and hugging her. And I think that affection caught even Nikki by surprise, as it did all the viewers. And the viewers loved those scenes.
I love it.
Because even though, yes, she's been through every emotion with Sharon, hates her, she's a gold digger, she's this, she's that, get away from my son. All these years and all of the fights that we've had, let's not forget those. Yeah. But in spite of all of that, she really, underneath, and probably doesn't want to admit it, loves her.
See, I feel like you play that though. I feel like that's shown on screen. That she's like a fly in the ointment sometimes to you, a thorn in your side. But your family. I mean, regardless of who she's married to in your family or not, she's your family. And those scenes were really wonderful, actually, with you guys when you found out she was sick. Those scenes you played it really well like that. And Sharon, so how do you think you view Nikki? I mean,
well, I absolutely love the Sharon Nikki relationship. Melody and I have so much fun with it, and I love that it's sort of twofold. It's a love-hate relationship, so it leaves you to wonder, well, which one really is it? It's both. I love when we have fights, and I love when we have these scenes, like Melody was saying, where there's this maybe even sometimes unexpected connection or cooling off or real emotional attachment we find in the scene. Sometimes that's written in the scene. Sometimes it's not so much written, but it's where Melody and I find we go with it. And I love that we dig down deep sometimes in certain scenes and show that we do love each other. We really are family, regardless of anything else. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to always get along. We'll probably have another fight, but I just love this relationship.
But I have a question to both of you guys, and I've always thought this for years. I know you guys came from different backgrounds, your characters, but aren't you essentially similar? Girls on the wrong side of the tracks that kind of made it into society?
We are very similar, and I think that's part of Nikki's issue with her. And I think that we did come from similar backgrounds. There was no wealth or really any kind of higher education. We really came from nothing, so to speak. And of course, Nikki felt that Sharon was using Nicholas as a way to elevate her status.
Yes.
And she probably was, but anyway.
Like whatever you say, like whatever.
We are very similar. And Sharon will fight to the death for what she believes in. She's very loyal. And so is Nikki in her own way. So they are very similar. You're right, James.
That's what I thought. I always thought that. Sharon, what do you think about that? I always thought that.
I agree. I think Nikki and Sharon, they're very, very similar. And it's interesting how, I think that oftentimes happens in real life where you have mother and daughter-in-law battling, and a lot of the times it is because they are similar. And I don't know what that has to do with things, but it somehow creates this conflict, like, I know what you're really doing because I am you, and or suspicions, or just things that this relationship needs to work out. And it's a really great journey to watch a relationship like that unfold over the years, because it's an ever-changing relationship.
Well, I feel like, you know, sometimes it's that mirror. It's like, it's a little too close to home because he sees this and it's going, oh, okay, this is a little too close to, you know, what I'm seeing. And Sharon's like, but I mean, I want to be like, you know, I'm like you in a way, and I should be accepted. I always feel like that push and pull with you guys.
I also think that, I mean, let's face it, both Sharon and Nikki have been manipulative at times. And I think the other one knows that the other one is recognizing that exact manipulation in the other, and they don't like that. It's like, hey, I'm the only one that gets to secretly manipulate here. You, I know you do it, and I don't want you in my world.
Sharon, you know, here she comes from the same place Nikki came from, you know, a simple lifestyle as a child, and meets this Prince Charming and sees her life going in these great directions, and who wouldn't love that? And Sharon genuinely always loved Nick and still does. And I think that part of Sharon's also interest in Nick was the family, the Newman family she would be a part of, because she didn't have that family. And she saw Nikki and thought, you know, being her is my dream come true also. That's also what I want to be. And that was probably irritating to Nikki, that Sharon was always like, I'm going to be like you. You know, I'm going to be my own version too, but I'm going to be like you.
Absolutely. And it still is, Sharon.
It stopped. It hasn't stopped at all. So, I mean, so Sharon's, I mean, the thing is, I mean, because you weren't, I mean, I always felt like you weren't a gold digger, clearly. This is, you know, a mother-in-law feels she protects over her son. But I felt like you were just like you were a genuine person who genuinely fell in love with someone who comes from the other side of the tracks.
Yeah, and I mean, that's absolutely true. She genuinely always loved Nicholas so much, as Nikki always really loved Victor too. I mean, it's a match made in heaven. They really do love each other. So that's also true.
Yeah, well, okay, so
I'm happy to hear Sharon say that, because I don't know if you guys have been watching the classic episodes.
Yes.
But just on Monday, for those fans who hadn't started to watch yet or didn't know the history, we saw on Monday, Nikki enters the Newman living room for the very first time in her life, and she believes that Victor is the butler. And because he was testing her, he wanted to make sure she wasn't, you know, there for the money. That was true love. And so that's proof positive for all those fans who said, oh, well, you did the same thing. You're a gold digger too. And I would try to say, no, she's not. But now everybody knows.
Melody didn't, he pursued you. Victor pursued Nikki, right? That's how it began.
Well, I think so.
I'm saying, I'm defending your character. I'm saying that he pursued you. And then you reciprocated, obviously, but he saw you stripping, you know, up there.
He did, which is just it's so unexpected. He found her to be quite adorable, and I think Nikki didn't quite see that in the beginning, because she was kind of sassy and saucy with that whole thing, which I had forgotten until I saw the show the other day. And Michael Evans, who plays Douglas Austin, I didn't remember that he looked like he was going to try to have a shot at Nikki. And she was like, oh, no. So she was quite opinionated and quite picky about who she was going to pursue, even though she was definitely from the wrong side of the tracks.
Yeah. But I feel like he came to you first. I mean, you're a nice looking man with some money coming after you. We're going to say hello. Of course. Why not?
Well, that's true.
Why not? Right? Why not? I mean, I feel like
I also think when you're as wealthy as Victor, I think there's a certain sense of boredom that can set in. And I think everything's about timing in life. And I think she entered his life at the right time, that he was quite taken with that idea, and he needed a new, exciting distraction, and she was it.
Yeah, I think so. Now, you guys have shared men on the show to add to your rivalry. And this is a question I've interviewed so many soap stars. I've never asked this question. It came to me when I was thinking about you two. When you play a certain relationship as actors on the show, like mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, for a long time, then one of you guys, the relationship changes, and now she's dating and marrying your ex-husband, Jack, so to speak, that kind of relationship. how do you play that as an actor? And how do you play that kind of like, you're my daughter-in-law for a long time, but now you're now my rival with my ex-husband? Like, how's the mindset shift in there?
Sharon, you go. I've been yakking too much.
Okay. For the short period of time Sharon and Jack were together, I don't know that we really played on so much. I don't remember playing so much on the relationship between Sharon and Nikki. And really, what that was about was Sharon and Jack kind of conspiring to get together because Nick and Phyllis had gotten together.
Yes.
And we were going to stick it to them. And, he was running for Senate, I think, at the time. And that just, worked out perfect. We were going to be these public figures and we were going to make them jealous. If they can be together, so can we, and see what they have to say about that. Well, so that I don't know that it really, related or threw back to how the Nikki character felt about it. I think she was long over Jack and she was back with Victor again. But so I don't think the two of them have ever really shared.
I was just curious because you guys shared a man, so to speak. I mean, it was different. You weren't each other, different times, but.
I knew Sharon. We've had so many years of establishing who we are to each other. I don't think it really makes any difference. I've never felt any different in having to play something differently in a scene with you, Sharon, depending on who you're with. Have you?
No.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Do you guys run lines together for scenes or anything like that? Do you guys ever do that or no?
Oh yeah, we do.
Well, once we're on stage, yeah.
Because you both have seen the changes, actually, of how it used to be done to how it is now. Because I always tell people, soap actors, that's some of the hardest stuff, learning all those pages of dialogue and the blocking and all that stuff. So you've seen the changes, haven't you? How it's gone, how it's done.
Are you trying to make us say something negative, James?
I admire you. That's the whole point. It's like, because folks always say soap actors. I'm like, no, you guys are the hardest working people in show business. The hardest, the crew, you guys are, you're turning over so many episodes a week.
Yeah, we work faster than any other medium in entertainment industry. And if an actor who's just gotten a job on our show is not aware of that, they probably won't last very long. And if you don't have a good mind for memorization, you probably want to move on to do prime time or a movie, because it really is critical to your success. You have to be able to remember so much dialogue.
And we get used to moving at that speed, and now we prefer it. It's all we know. If we move any slower, it drives us crazy.
That's so funny. Well, you both are so good. You're just so good at it. It's amazing. So when you actually had, because you guys have had some actual tussles over the years, how much fun is it to do those? Because you get to do something outside of your, usual purview. You get to do some fun, you get to touch each other. I mean, how much fun is that?
We love it.
Yeah,
at the same time.
And Nelsie's so great at it. I love working with her in fight scenes. She's really good at it. And I remember early on, Sharon and Nikki were fighting, even in the early days, right after Nick and Sharon got married, and we had a argument in Sharon's house, and Sharon slapped Nikki slapped Sharon very hard. I remember she got me good that day.
Honey, I'm sorry. Yeah, I do kind of remember that.
Real
in all of our subsequent fights where we had
on my nose for
physical fights. What's happened? I think that's why the fans love to watch us have physical fights, because of course you and I are safe and we trust each other so much. We know that we're not going to hurt the other, but boy, it looks real. And
it does. As a viewer, like my goodness. So you guys saw just a little behind the scenes stuff. So you probably have a person who choreographs the movement, right? So it's like you do this, then you do this, and so it's all safe, right?
But we do, but a lot of times Sharon and I will even accelerate that. We'll add things and we'll say, hey, look, can we just do this? And hey, do you have a bucket? Let's do that. We'll ask for extra props to make it as good as possible.
You have a stick?
Yeah, we definitely elaborated on that fight scene we had in the barn. I don't know if dunking each other's head in the water was even scripted. I think we came up with some of that as we were going along.
And I remember it was Mike Downey directing that episode, and we asked him, can we add this? And Mike said, you know what? You girls are so good. You just tell the prop guys what you need and tell me where you're going to be and I'll shoot it. So it's great that they will give us that kind of freedom sometimes, because it was one of our classic fights.
Yeah. And then my other favorite one is when I poured the milk over your head. That was
Yes.
And that just went so well, and it had to go well, because if I didn't pour the milk right, it wouldn't look right. And if we had to shoot it again, Melody had to completely clean up, so and dry off, and we had to reset everything. So this had to go right the first time, and it went so well. It was so fun.
Were you nervous though? Were you nervous though?
One had to be one take, and I don't know what I was thinking. I knew it was going to be a pitcher of milk, of course, but I didn't think to ask the prop guys to bring it to me. I didn't think to check it. I wasn't really thinking that it was going to be ice cold.
Oh yeah! Oh my goodness!
When we did shoot it and she finally poured it, that reaction of mine was real, because it was like, oh, this is so cold. Of course, it's milk. It should be cold, but I didn't think that.
But in Disneyland, we usually think about these things in advance, and we warm up the milk, or just make it feel a little more comfortable. And everyone just went with what was normal. Milk belongs in the refrigerator, so they kept it in the refrigerator.
Exactly. Oh, I'm such an idiot.
Oh, that's so funny. So both of you guys, how do you keep it fresh? I know you love what you do, but how do you keep it fresh? All these years,
just loving what you do, coming in every day and being excited to do it again and again. That's really all it takes for me. And loving the actors I work with, knowing that they're going to bring something new and fresh, or they're going to have a great idea, and it'll be fun.
Melody,
making a scene, getting a script at home and reading the dialogue, and that you're going to come into the studio and shoot that and bring it to life, shall we say, as actors, that's our greatest passion, is to do that. And when you do it successfully, sometimes it's more successful than others, we have such a wonderful feeling that can't be matched. So, I mean, that is why we're actors, is to create that, to have a part in the creative process.
So, Sharon Case, name one thing you admire about Melody Thomas Scott.
Oh, of all the many, I mean, I admire how graceful she is at being the lead actress of this #1 daytime show for so long. She really has always been the matriarch of the show, and she has always been so lovely and kind and very, very graceful, and handled her role there on and off screen so perfectly, and has always been so warm and helpful, and been such a wonderful person all the way around, and a great actress.
Yes.
Wow, James, why didn't you ask her that question years ago? Oh, this is so sweet. Thank you, Sharon. I have to really think about that and absorb it and let it go to my head. All right. Very, very sweet.
Yeah. Now, Miss Melody Thomas Scott, what do you admire about Sharon Case?
Oh my goodness. Well, she's beautiful. She's always thin. She's an incredible actress. And really, above all of that, is she and I can have a silly, great time just laughing. I mean, she has such a great sense of humor. She's never in a bad mood. We just always have so much fun together. And we can be laughing, and then going into the countdown on the set, we're about to do a scene. We both know that we're both going to pull it together, and it is now serious stuff. She's now Sharon, and I'm Nikki, as opposed to Sharon.
Well, that's almost a system.
And her name is Sharon. It was meant for her.
I followed your lead. You kind of taught me that in rehearsal, it's okay sometimes to kind of laugh or joke your way through it. Almost kind of getting that energy out helps the scene, and you kind of get the funny out of it at first, so that you can be serious. And I learned it from you, that you can be laughing through rehearsal, and then as soon as the count comes, you're in the scene. And now I do that too, and I love that we do that together. But I learned that from you.
Wow, I had no idea.
It's all you. That's your thing. I love it.
sometimes, I mean, let's face it, sometimes our dialogue is couldn't be comical. And so, yes, we need to get it out so that we can do it seriously.
Yeah.
But I never know that. You learned that from me. I am such a bad influence.
Yeah.
No, you're a good influence. And I mean, and I want to thank both of you for your years of service to our soap community. I mean, you both are just class acts and such good actors.
Thank you, James.
Thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for being on my show, first of all. Thank you.
Over already?
I know. It's like they give us a certain amount of time. That's it.
When can we come back?
Anytime you want. Anytime you want. Come on, anytime. It's open-ended invitation. She's like, I'll be back next week. No, it's any invitation, anytime. You come on anytime. You're welcome.
Next time out by the pool.
Yeah, you both go by the pool.
We'll both be out by the pool next time.
By the pool. It's a date. And we'll all have drinks. Right, we all have drinks. Like, we'll have some drinks.
And our dog.
Absolutely, yeah.
Exactly, like your drink. Show your drink.
I have my lemonade. It's just lemonade, but
there you go.
Let's see, what time is it?
Well, folks, continue to watch The Young and the Restless. They're showing, I mean, they are doing it right. They're showing classic episodes. They're going back to the 80s, 90s. They're doing all kinds of episodes. So continue to watch the show and support the show while we're on this kind of forced hiatus. But it won't be for long. I'm thinking positive. They'll be back. They're ready to get back to work. But in the meantime, continue to watch this show. It's so wonderful on CBS. And I'm James Lott Jr. You can follow me at James Lott Jr. everywhere. And this show is on YouTube at JLJ Media. And it's on all the streaming platforms you can go to and continue to watch it. And thank you for watching. And stay safe and sane out there.